Good evening, it's me, Mr. Venus Star, and today I'm just talking about how the UK is really lucky that they are in the process of leaving the EU because there are very strong possibilities that, EU is definitely going down, and there's a big threat of Russia, you know, taking over the EU because of its giant size and its humongous nature, and you know so I think it's such a good thing that they left the EU in time before any war happens in Europe, because there's definitely going to be war in Europe because of all the nationalism that's currently in Europe right now. Every single country there is like a mini copy of Germany in during 1937. So that's not a very peaceful place to live in, really, is it? I mean, all those big egos are going to eventually clash, and there will be war on the European continent. They can't go on without having war every uh, 50 years, stuff like that. So I think it's great that the UK has left Europe, is going to leave Europe in time before all that mess starts. And let's be honest, Russia is a force to be taken very seriously, because they will actually engulf and invade Europe. It's not that hard for them. They are already doing it via other means, waving their cash around, bribing politicians, um, things like that. So it's only a matter of time before their military will turn up on the European continent. And that's just the way it goes. When there's ego, they want more. There's no limit. So the UK did absolutely great by leaving the EU. Um, I just don't think, the EU is literally past its sell by date. Literally. So I'm just trying to get something online about it, yeah. And so I'm just typing something EU, and let's see. Because, the discussion is just so bureaucratic and posh, and doesn't involve the everyday person. But we just have to simplify it and bring it to you and let you know that there is a whole bunch of worrying going on, and they don't want the average Joe Blog to see what the big worry is. And the big worry is Russia, and the fact that they have a huge what's the word, interest in Europe, and they're literally influencing every single one of those countries to be run how they want it to be run. And does the UK really want to be ruled by Russia? No, they don't. So they're better off leaving the EU. Um, Let me just see what I can find here. So yeah, just influence. We've seen the whole thing with the Cold War. This is just the same thing, but a different leader, different package, and you know, the size of it. It's just inevitable that they are going to take over the EU. Um, let's, let's see. Huh. Right. So they've already got such a huge influence in Eastern Europe. Mm, they don't stand a chance. The rest of the European countries, like the Western countries, without the UK, they don't stand a chance to face big Russia, big brother Russia. Do you know what I mean? They just do not stand the they can't stand the sheer size and magnitude of Russia, and they will have to eventually be taken over by it, through the policies and everything. And UK just can't be part of this. They cannot be run by Russians. It's just not happening. They don't have much in common besides the royal family, being related to the former royals. That's about it. But to be run by them and controlled, no, it will just destroy every single, British liberty that the whole world, likes and follows. And to be part of the how many millionth, I don't know, how many like state of Russia, it's just not on. So Brexit is such a good thing for the UK to avoid the grips of Russia. Yeah, they're literally sweeping in and taking over. Okay, here's a video. Can Russia invade Europe? Of course they can. Just look at the size of it.
2017, Russia conducted a series of military exercises known as Zapad, or Exercise West. With their roots in the Soviet Union, Zapad military exercises have traditionally been shows of force, meant to let NATO know that Russia was willing and ready to fight. Despite assurances that Russia's 2017 Zapad exercises were nothing more than preparations for counter-terror operations, an exercise
they're just plotting away, they're planning. And I'm not like a conspiracy theorist, it's just basic common sense. This is what's going to happen. You know, I sometimes do see myself as a prophetic person, but to be honest, I see myself as very pragmatic and what's the word, factual, and knowing what's going to happen. And it's just basic common sense. I don't know if because everybody's so blinded by the press about should we leave EU, should we not leave, should we leave, should we not leave. That's just the discussion, and they're just failing to understand that you know EU is under the grips of Russia. It really is.
In a 10-year modernization push that has yielded huge results. While still mostly a conscript army, Russia's military is seeing a huge expansion in the size of its volunteer forces.
I mean, like, even the fact that they're building their army, doesn't that ring a bell? Like, have people lost their common sense that when a country is building its military, which is Russia, what the hell do you think they're going to do with it? They're obviously going to use it to invade your countries. I just feel like people had more common sense back in the day. No one is paying attention to the fact that, they're testing out all these weapons and creating these jets that look like spaceships. You know, they are going to go to your next door neighbor. They're not going somewhere far. They're going to go to your neighbor and go over by land because it's so much more convenient. And I think they obviously don't want to do it like. I think obviously they'll that will be the last thing, but all it takes is just one argument and they're ready with all their missiles and God knows. And most people in Europe are just going to accept it, and like they're not going to get their ancient monuments ruined and stuff because they need it for tourism. So they're going to let them in, say, hey, welcome. So that's obviously what's going to happen. And it's just like the continent has too many egos, and they all have one thing in common, which is nationalism. This, you know, 1940s style nationalism of we're superior, we're better than you, kind of, we hate foreigners. That's their culture. That's what they're good at. If they all have that point of view, then obviously they're going to get on with each other and agree to one massive giant fascist state. So they all, are uniting, and it will just be one Russian state, literally, in Europe. And that's when it becomes a problem because then, America and Russia don't get on, do they? So this leaves Britain better off leaving the EU because the threat is just it's just too big. And I'm seeing people in the EU trying to drag the UK into a European state. Like, they're saying, yes, we're European. Like, that's when you should be worried when they start going on about European, because that means one thing, and that's one giant Russian state, one giant Russian European state. And, it's really worrying for people.
NATO's second Achilles heel is the lackluster commitment from its European member states to the military portion of the alliance. Out of the 29 member states, only 8 have hit the 2% of GDP investment in their military.
Honestly, all those militaries in one place, one location, people are going to use it. And it's kind of worrying. So, I think UK will be okay because actually it will be the only island that's okay in Europe, because what's going to happen in Europe is pure war. Like, it's just going to be pure war, pure destruction. Yeah, proper war. If Russia's involved in it, you can bet it's going to be all or nothing on their side, and it's just going to be devastation. But the UK will be okay because of the fact that they left the EU, and I believe because there's a lot of people that believe in God in the UK. I don't see the UK being destroyed because of the faith that's in the UK right now. In Europe, there's no such faith anymore. I feel like they're very secular and religion has gone out the window, so they don't have nothing protecting them basically, which is why they'll be eliminated. Literally, when the war happens, they won't stand anymore. So the UK will be fine because there are people who believe in God, and God won't let the UK go down. And in fact, it's because God is looking out for the UK's interest. That's why he allowed Brexit to happen, and Brexit is the best thing that could have happened to the UK, in my personal opinion. But people need to understand that the biggest threat is Russia, and the fact that they will take over Europe, and the question is when. So yeah, I'm Miss Jarena Starr. I've been back with another vlog, and I'll be back again. Bye.
Of Kaliningrad with Belarus by putting pressure